Maya pressed her swollen belly as she stood in the pouring rain, her 5-year-old daughter Arya clinging to her mud-soaked dress. Behind them, the iron gates of her in-laws' mansion slammed shut with a finality that echoed through the storm. Her mother-in-law's voice still rang in her ears. "You and your cursed daughters are no longer welcome here. My son deserves better than a woman who cannot give him a male heir." Maya's husband Raj had stood silent, his eyes downcast, choosing his inheritance over his family. With only the clothes on their backs and $17 in her pocket, Maya took Arya's trembling hand and walked into the unknown. For 3 days they wandered through villages where every door closed at the sight of a desperate pregnant woman and her child. They slept under bridges and ate scraps from market garbage bins until Arya's lips turned pale from hunger. On the 4th day, delirious with exhaustion, Maya stumbled upon an abandoned limestone cave hidden behind a waterfall in the remote hills. The cave was damp and dark, but it was shelter. That first night, as Arya slept on a bed of leaves, Maya wept silently, her hands resting on her unborn child. But as dawn broke and sunlight filtered through the cave entrance, something shifted inside her. She looked at her sleeping daughter and made a promise. "I will not let them define our story. I will not let them break us." The cave became their kingdom. Maya spent the first week making it livable, using flat stones to create a sleeping platform and gathering dry wood for fires. She discovered a crystal-clear stream that fed into a pool at the base of the waterfall, teeming with fish. With no money for nets or hooks, Maya watched the local fishermen from a distance, learning their techniques. She fashioned a spear from a long branch and a sharpened stone, tying them together with vines. Her first attempts were disasters, the fish darting away before she could strike. But hunger is a powerful teacher. On the 10th day, she caught her first fish, a beautiful silver creature that would feed them for 2 days. Arya danced with joy, and for the first time since their exile, Maya smiled. She taught herself to smoke the fish over their fire, preserving the excess for harder times. She gathered wild berries, edible roots, and herbs that grew along the hillside. The forest became their grocery store, and the stream their lifeline. Maya's hands, once soft and adorned with gold bangles, became calloused and strong. Her belly grew larger, but so did her determination. She created tools from stones and bones, built a rain-catching system using large leaves and hollowed logs, and even constructed a small fence of thorny branches to keep wild animals at bay. Arya, once a pampered child who had servants attending to her every need, learned to identify safe plants, help with fishing, and tend the fire. The little girl's laughter returned as she discovered the magic of fireflies, the thrill of catching fish with her bare hands, and the comfort of her mother's unbreakable spirit. As Maya's due date approached, fear crept back into her heart. She was alone with no midwife, no hospital, and no one to help if something went wrong. But she had survived this far, and she would survive what came next. She prepared a clean space in the cave, boiled water, and gathered soft moss and clean leaves. When labor began on a cold winter night, Maya gripped Arya's small hand and breathed through the pain. 12 hours later, as the first light of dawn painted the cave walls gold, a baby's cry pierced the air. Maya had given birth to another daughter, whom she named Hope. Holding her newborn against her chest while Arya kissed her baby sister's forehead, Maya realized something profound. They had lost everything: the mansion, the luxury, the social standing. But in this cave, they had found something far more valuable. They had found their strength, their resilience, and an unbreakable bond. The family that had rejected them had inadvertently given them the greatest gift: freedom and the chance to build a life on their own terms. 6 months passed, and the cave transformed into something extraordinary. Word began to spread through nearby villages about the woman and her daughters who lived by the waterfall. At first, people came out of curiosity, but they stayed because of what they witnessed. Maya had turned survival into artistry. She had learned to weave baskets from river reeds, which she traded for cloth and basic necessities. Her smoked fish became legendary in the local market, seasoned with wild herbs that gave them a unique flavor no one could replicate. Travelers began stopping by the cave, and Maya, with Arya's help, started selling her fish and handmade goods. She never spoke of her past or the family that had abandoned her. She let her work speak for itself. The money wasn't much, but it was honest, earned by her own hands, and it was enough. She bought a real fishing net, cooking pots, blankets, and eventually, books for Arya. Every evening, by firelight, Maya taught her daughter to read and write, determined that poverty would not steal her children's education. Arya proved to be a brilliant student, and her reading voice would echo through the cave as baby Hope gurgled happily nearby. The cave walls became adorned with Arya's drawings, and the space that had once seemed like a prison now felt like a sanctuary. Maya built furniture from driftwood, created a proper kitchen area, and even cultivated a small garden near the cave entrance where she grew vegetables and medicinal herbs. The turning point came when a journalist from the city, hiking through the region, stumbled upon their settlement. Fascinated by Maya's story and her refusal to be broken by circumstances, she wrote an article titled "The Cave That Became a Castle, A Mother's Unbreakable Spirit." The piece went viral, and suddenly, Maya's story was everywhere. Donations poured in from strangers moved by her resilience. NGOs offered help, but Maya accepted only what she needed: proper education for her daughters, basic medical supplies, and materials to improve their living conditions. She refused charity that would make them dependent, insisting on continuing to work and provide for her family. The attention brought an unexpected visitor. Raj appeared at the cave entrance one morning, dressed in expensive clothes, but looking hollow and ashamed. He had read the article and seen the photographs of the thriving life Maya had built from nothing. He begged for forgiveness, claiming his parents had died and left him the family fortune, and he wanted his family back. Maya looked at the man she had once loved, then at her daughters playing happily by the stream. Arya was teaching Hope to splash in the shallow water, their laughter ringing like bells through the valley. Maya turned back to Raj and spoke with a quiet strength that surprised even herself. "You chose silence when we needed your voice. You chose wealth when we needed your courage. We don't need you anymore. We built this life without you, and we'll continue it without you. These girls will grow up knowing their mother never abandoned them, even when the world did." Raj left, and Maya never saw him again. She heard later that he had drunk himself into ruin, unable to live with his cowardice. But Maya didn't dwell on his fate. She was too busy building her daughter's future, with the support of the community and her own relentless work. Maya eventually established a small eco-tourism venture. People came to the cave not just to buy her goods, but to learn her story, to fish in the stream, and to understand that home isn't about walls and roofs. It's about the people who fill it with love. Arya grew into a confident young woman who won a scholarship to university, determined to become an environmental lawyer. Hope showed early signs of being an artist, her drawings of cave life selling to tourists for surprising amounts. And Maya, the woman who had been thrown away like garbage, became a symbol of maternal strength and resilience. She stood at the cave entrance each morning, watching the sunrise paint the waterfall in shades of gold and pink, and she smiled. They had kicked her out to destroy her, but instead, they had freed her to become the woman she was always meant to be. The cave that was supposed to be her tomb had become her throne, and she ruled it with grace, grit, and an unbreakable spirit that would echo through generations. If this story touched your heart, imagine how many more incredible stories of human resilience are waiting to be told. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss these powerful tales that remind us of the strength we all carry within. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that setbacks are often setups for incredible comebacks. Your subscription helps us bring more of these inspiring stories to the world. Join our community today and be part of something meaningful.